Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham of goodforthegame.co.za. It's Thursday night. It's time for the handicap rugby chat that matters. But I tell you what, you'll see us in the studio with me here, and we've got another eager young pup ready to come in later on when we talk a bit of cricket. We're going to talk T20, and of course, let's introduce Couch Critic. He's known for his rugby hookers. He's known for his cricket punting as well. We're looking forward to chatting to him about that. Couch, welcome back to the show. Going to be a bit of a show with a difference. We're going to talk rugby, but we'll touch on your what you're following very closely is a T20.
That's been great. Oh, no, that sounds good. That sounds like my weekend plan, eh?
Exactly. I see Crow Tips loves it when you make an appearance. We've got Fareed coming in as well. I've just Gavin, if you are watching, I've just taken you off. I know you went off camera because you're not going to talk Super Rugby. But, Catch, let's get into the Super Rugby. We'll run through the odds on that. Obviously, Nathan normally joins us on a Thursday, and he's a Super Rugby guru type of thing. I definitely don't classify myself in that mold, although I will be able to comment on how the handicaps have moved compared to when I priced them up. Vanna also joining us in the studio. How's it, Vanna? Good to have you along for the ride. Couch, let's get into Super Rugby. And I'm going to start off opening game, Pacifica -5.5. And I just want to get the right article up on my side. Pacifica -5.5. And they started -1.5. So there's been quite a big move for Mohana here against the Western Force.
Yeah, Brent, not one I know a lot about. I've watched the Super Rugby pretty much condensed versions and kept an eye on it, some surprising results, but definitely not my two favorite teams I'm going to be keeping an eye on here. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm still a little bit old school, and I reckon there could be some value in the Force. But yeah, at home, probably Pacifica, you shouldn't take them lightly.
Yeah, they certainly they beat the Drew, I think, away in week 1, and they were quite well beaten last week, but they made a lot of changes, and I believe they're fielding a much stronger team this time around. So points line always interesting there. I haven't had a good chance to wrap my head around the weather. I'll certainly have a look tonight before posting a bet on good for the game. Right, the next game, it's the Reds up against the Highlanders.
Brent, the only one in terms of a try scorer punt there. I mean, I don't know. Somehow it's just like the try scorers pop out to be in a team, and I think unfortunately the bookies have caught on to Carlo Tizzano, who's a try scoring machine from flank. So Western Force have got a nice try scorer there, but unfortunately he's already pretty short. But shop around, and if you can get him in a first try scorer or last try scorer, I mean, he's a pretty key player for the Force. So often he's going to stay on and play until late. And then when the team isn't favourites like they are now, they can also get a little bit of a better price. So you might be able to take him as like a last try scorer in the game. And then even if Pacifica do win, you can still get some coin off him.
Right, nice strategy there from Couch. Stefan says Moana on the cap and also like the unders here. And Fareed pops in. Moana rested some players, but suspect against a team that can throw the ball around. He's on the Force for a win. So we've got some differing views. I just want to bring up another post. Except he's called me, if I only had 100 Rand every time someone called me Graham instead of Brent and Brent instead of Brent. JP there. He's saying, how about a Super Rugby quiz to celebrate 30 years? Now, that's a good idea, but I thought it's good timing, Couch, because you and I were WhatsApping just a little bit away, and I was saying, why don't we do a show maybe ahead of the semi-finals or even the final or whatever, and put a bit of a cricket quiz together. So yeah, JP, we're definitely going to do a quiz. I'd love to do more quizzes, guys. I'm just under a bit of pressure work-wise, mate, at the moment. I'm sure people who follow Good for the Game can tell, even with the betting, I'm following it from a bit more of a distance than I used to, and it's just because life at the moment is a little bit hectic. So, JP, great idea there on the quiz. And the Crow Tip says, Fassler, anytime tomorrow, Hein, I can get him even in places. That's from the Crow Tips. Right, and by the way, Crow Tips is going to be coming back on the show soon, and he's also keen to have a go at and he's done it before, make no mistake, but he's keen to host a few shows as well. And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind coming on as a guest myself a few times, or just sitting in the background and bringing up the comments and that sort of stuff. So we'll see.
On a personal note, I got to tell you, I mean, I outsourced my show a bit, and it's quite nice being able to, as you say, firstly just have a Thursday off, and secondly, even just coming on as a guest and not having the other aspects. It's pretty cool just and I mean, even coming on your show, just being a guest on the other side, it's like a whole new dynamic. It's great.
It's totally different, hey. A Prosper coming in and saying Force too much quality to get pummeled 3 games on the trot. Give me the Force on the plus. And it's funny you say that, because like I don't watch the show again. Like when I'm the presenter. But it's actually quite like I really enjoy listening to the show when I'm like either watching it the next day if I couldn't present for whatever reason, or like next week Chris will be presenting, and we'll have two guys talking Six Nations and that. And I really enjoy the show. But when you're presenting, it's like you're thinking like you're watching the banners, and you still enjoy it, but it's a different kind of enjoyment, So sometimes it's like just to sit back and relax. And as Crow Tip says exactly what he said to me. Right, let's move on to the next Super Rugby game here. We got Reds -3.5 against the Highlanders. And I projected this game at 4.5, so I was pretty close, to be honest. But they actually open side underdogs, so a lot of money here for the Reds.
Yeah, I've actually been quietly impressed by the Highlanders to start the campaign. I think they've been pretty solid and a decent showing from them. But you just get the feeling that the Reds will bounce back here at home. Come out swinging and get the job done again. The Highlanders are the kind of team that are just that extra little bit that you put on when they're playing at home as opposed to away from home. So I expect the Reds to do the business. Again, these kind of handicaps are tough. You might have a Highlanders scoring at the end to bugger your handicap, but I'd still go for them on the handicap. But I'll throw them into my best bet later.
Okay, we're going to be covering the best bets a little bit later. Let's quickly see what the boys are saying in the chat. Highlanders for Farid. I also think the Highlanders are the value in this game, Farid, at current prices as well. Because like Couch, I have actually been quite impressed. Fazler is playing for the Reds, so Crow Tips jumped ahead there. And Reds too strong at home. And Wilson, number 8, says Stefan. So I must say Wilson makes a big difference to that team. Let's go on.
I also like Gary Wilson, Brent, as a try scorer. He's okay. Kind of like this ungainly number 8, but he has a knack of getting over the try line, almost like Frankie Horn does for the Lions. So have a look out at him as a possible. I don't like the anytime try scorers as much as Crow has mentioned. To me it's the best you get is a 15-10 or something, and then you got to hope he doesn't go off with an injury or something, and it just doesn't appeal. I like those big numbers for try scorers.
That's it, and especially with hookers. Like I always find that anytime try scorer bet on the hooker, you just know the hooker's going to be subbed. So you've actually got, if you take an anytime try scorer on your starting hooker, you've got 50 minutes, and that's basically it. It's virtually without fail that he'll get subbed. This game's quite interesting, Drew. So I actually kept this at plus 10.5. I see it's plus 11.5, but it opened, or certainly the early line that I saw was plus 14.5. So a little bit of money for Drew at home here against Hurricanes. Couch Hurricanes were impressive last week in their opener. I think it was against the Pacifico that they ran away with it. Drew are beaten at home in the first week, but generally over the season's been formidable at home. Probably not too surprised to see a bit of money for the home team here.
No, not at all. They are tough at home, and again, this is tough for me because when I see these teams, I just think points. But then you think conditions and humidity, and you get concerned and running out of puff. But honestly, the only thing I can see in my mind is touch rugby happening here, or sevens. It's a sevens team, Drew, and the Hurricanes. They love nothing more than throwing the ball around. So to me, I would be hesitant to get involved on the cap and focus on points, and especially. I know Crow likes these type of things as well. I'd go for 47.5 points. Throw that into a couple of multis, and I'm struggling to not see that come home.
Right. Also, I must say I hadn't noted that points line, but 53.5, very tempting. The Crow Tips also a renowned overs taker, unlike the unders taker Henrik Swart, over 53.5 all day. Says the Crow. Farid will give you the final word on this game. Canes 8-14. And no, I'm not going to give you the final word. Johan Esthuizen comes in with his points over. So Johan will give you the final word. I better move on to the next game. Otherwise, it won't be the final word. The game of the weekend, Couch. No doubt about it. We got the Chiefs up against the Crusaders. Crusaders lost both opening games. I think the Crow was on the show. Well, he was in the live chat, should I say, a couple of weeks ago. He did say the Crusaders are slow starters. So it's proved. Chiefs here, I capped this game at 8.5. When you cap New Zealand derbies, it's pretty easy generally. You can normally get within a point or two of projecting the handicap. They're very, I'm not to say they're boring, they're great games to watch, but you could throw a blanket over them generally as far as the finish goes. What are you doing in this one? And I've got a feeling you might have a try scorer or something for us in here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, lastly, I'm back to my hookers on the previous one. Safu Amoa at hooker for the Hurricanes. I mean, he's a bulldozer. I've got got to have a look at getting him as first try scorer or first Hurricanes try scorer, depending on which way I go there at the end. I must say, Brent, you've said it. It's almost like you'd close your eyes and you go, I'm going to take Crusaders to be plus 14 and throw that into multis, and you're almost certain. But these days it feels like, we saw last week someone can get absolutely smashed. If you slightly off it, it can just go completely. So I don't think that either team are 1 to 7. It's not a foregone conclusion as you might have thought when it was the good days of Super Rugby and these top teams and they're strong. It's like at the end of the day you always know it's going to be within that 7-pointer. And now it's almost like you kind of look at the Chiefs side and you think if they click, they can put the Crusaders away. But on the other hand, you got guys like Will Jordan and Fainganaku and Sivu Rees. On paper, Christian Low-Willie, it's not a bad Fletcher Newell, Tamate Williams. Come on, this is a top Crusaders team. There's nothing wrong. I don't know. I think it's off the pitch that there's an issue at the moment. So, and as soon as those aspects come in, you struggle to get involved from a betting front to really be positive and say, listen, this is going to happen, because I'm a team sheet kind of guy and I bet on team sheet. So for me at this stage, I'll probably still throw Crusaders on the plus into a few multis, but I'm not rushing into that. And to tell you the truth, I'm probably going to be on unders and expect them to be a bit of an arm wrestle.
I haven't got a price on this, but I'll quickly I'll have a look while we're chatting. But assuming we like the Crusaders on the plus, that either team by 7 or less appeals as a potential bet. Yeah, I could see this one going right down to the wire and being pretty close. Although Stefan does say he reckons the Chiefs by double digits. The Crow Tips reckon the Satyrs have to bounce back, so he reckons plus 7 is the call. The capitulation last week is certainly a worry. And right, let's get on to the next game. I'm just laughing when you said I'm a team sheet man. I wonder what Oracle. I know he's listening to the show. He's probably shaking his head, never having seen a team sheet.
He's on a try scorer there. Just Wallace Atiti is on the bench for the Chiefs. So he's a nice open field kind of Lucy. So he's good. Tuarangi as the replacements come off is also lively. But I like Wallace Atiti as a last try scorer.
So let's just have a look. So have you looked at prices yet, or you just at this stage not yet, Couch?
No. I haven't actually seen. I know the Blues and players like those were available, so they might be available. But usually it's not like you'd get something completely different. You'll probably get Wallace Atiti, last try scorer, probably 16 to 1 or something like that.
Let me have a look. I've got PokerBet, and we'll talk a bit more about PokerBet in a sec, because of course you've got the cricket promo with them. But I'm just looking. I'm on the right game here. No, I'm on the wrong game, so that's probably why I'm not spotting what is the TT there. I got the games in the wrong order. Hold on a sec. I'm going to have a look now. What are we looking for? Last try scorer.
Last try scorer in the Chiefs and Crusaders.
I got it. I was on the right game. Sorry. Okay, I'm making an absolute balls up of this. Let's have a look here. First try scorer anytime. Last try scorer. 20 to 1. 20 to 1.
That's a decent. And then sometimes, I take a little bit of Chiefs last try scorer and then match try scorer. But in this case, when they're the favorites, it's not such a big difference. So often, if you like someone from the Crusaders, then it's worth taking last Crusader try scorer maybe as well or instead.
Right, 100%. I'm just looking for something here. I want to find. I'm just looking down PokerBet here. Where is it now, guys? Okay, so here's an interesting one. Chiefs. I'm looking at first try scorer now. So let me just have a look at last. Chiefs last try scorer. Satiti 16 to 1. So that's at PokerBet. So rather take the 16 to 1 Chiefs last try scorer than the 20 to 1.
Exactly. There's nothing worse than there's nothing worse than the Chiefs cruising 20 points and they let in the last try and it's a Crusader. That's a killer.
Well, Farid reckons the TT is a lightweight. As long as he flies over the try line, we don't mind. I do rate him. I actually think
it work for us.
And then Stefan is saying Roygaard anytime for the Canes. First start for him, so he'll be hungry. So while we're on here, let's quickly We'll
He's
keep Oracle.
usually very short. That's the only problem with Roy God, but he's a machine.
Anytime, he'll be short. So let me have a look here quickly. There we go. You know what I'll look at? His first price for his first try scorer as well could be interesting. Anytime, I think I don't like the anytimes much because I do think the prices are very short. But I'll tell you, anytime he's just over even money for anytime. But first try scorer, he's 11-1 in the match, and spending a lot of time. It reminds me of the time I had a guest on the radio once, and he was when I did a radio show, so he couldn't see anything. And he was trying to look for something, and he was silent for like 45 seconds. And I was like, this is so gone. But he was busy scrolling and having a look at something. But I'm going to have a look at Wellington Hurricanes' first try scorer, Roy got 9-1. So that would maybe be worth an interest there on that one. Right, we got one more Super Rugby game to go. It is another big game, really. We've got the Brumbies -6.5 here against the Blues. I can tell you, I kept this game -2.5. I thought it would be closer to a level game. This opened 7.5, so perhaps a little bit of money for the Brumbies, but a points line here, 55.5.
I think the kind of chap is always, it's, I don't know, we can probably coin it as a last week chap kind of thing. You read too much into the previous week's results. So I think the Brumbies, it's almost like the opposite way around. You would have expected the Brumbies to come out at 6.5 and then go back to 2.5 based on what happened last week. I mean, obviously dishing it out to the Crusaders is something massive. So you'd expect that kind of reaction. But I actually think they're not too far off here. I think the Brumbies are just a better team than the Blues at the moment. And going on for my best bet, it's a Aussie double. I'm going Reds and Brumbies on the double at about 13 or 14 to 10.
Reds and Brumbies on the double there for the catch. Critic Crow Tip says Blues +6. He likes him strong. Fareed, Brumbies on the 8-14 win for me. And okay, so that's Super Rugby. So there's a catch's best bet. Now, we'll see if Oracle's been listening or not, because I'll see if he appears. I can see, there he is, like absolute clockwork. He's appeared on camera. Oracle, welcome back, mate. We've chatted Super Rugby, and it's time to involve you in the show. Good to have you.
Thank you, Brent.
No,
I didn't give him a capital B for his surname. My apologies, Mr. Bennett. The twin brother. He's got a twin brother.
Tell me, while you were listening to the show, did you partake in any Coke or cool drink, or did you have a beer? Were you drinking anything while you were listening to us?
Yeah, I'm having my Katemba standard drink, red wine and Coke. Yeah, got it on the side.
Magic. Well, look, let's get through the URC. And I say get through because, when the Six Nations teams that aren't playing, I can see us chatting about the SA derbies. I don't think we're going to spend too much time on the other games, but we'll get through. I'll ask your opinion if you do have any feel. We'll talk about the derbies, and then we're going to talk a little bit of cricket. So, Couch, I'm going to start with you. Cardiff +7.5 against Leinster. I imagine, I haven't had a chance to look at teams or anything, but I imagine all the Six Nations players are still unavailable, or perhaps one or two fringe players have been released. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, Brenda, I'm going to be honest. I probably knew more about Super Rugby than URC without Six Nations players. As I said, I'm a team sheet punter, and I don't know anything. I haven't seen the team, but I actually said in my previous show I'm expecting Leinster is probably -24 players for this game. But the big thing is, a Leinster team without 24 players is probably still better than a Cardiff team without 10. So it's probably still, it's almost like you can discount it and still call the game as it would have been. But no, tough on this one. I think Leinster just want to try and get a job done. It's different this season for them, where they aren't, out free and cruising towards the top of the table. They still have to win. So it's going to be quite important for them to pick up a victory. The South Africans could make up some ground if they slip during this period, but obviously well structured by the authorities to not have the South Africans playing against those opposition, because they probably would have smoked them without the players. So well constructed there, but 7.5, I don't know. It's a tough one to call. Again, I'll probably on the extended add a Cardiff +10 into some Maltese +14.
Well, Emil is actually pointing out Cardiff open +10. Of course, that's not available now. You'll as you're suggesting, take a smaller price there. But he reckons that was an absolute gift. He's going for Cardiff to win by 1-12. So interesting that. And I was just going to say before these Stefan and Emil came in that we're probably going to rely on the boys in the live chat a bit for the URC. But let's see, Oracle, anything for you on this one?
Leinster -7. That seems a bit low to me.
Remember, they're missing
I don't
24 players, eh?
Don't care. It's too low. It seems too low. It feels wrong. I'm not a big punter on this, and in fact, I don't get involved in these games. But
well, Farid agrees with you. Yeah, he reckons Leinster will blow them.
He reckons
Leinster will blow them away.
Hey, you must come with your Cardiff money. Pull that right down to level game, and I'm a punter at -7 Leinster. You want to go to 0 or 3 or 4? I'm definitely a punter. Sorry, yeah, that number's too low. Feels too low. Probably is too low.
Right, so the Leinster minus there. Gab, will stick with you. Edinburgh -12.5 against the Scarlets. Points on. Just before we go to this, I just want to say that points on 43.5 looks really low in the Leinster game. Cardiff, I think, play on an artificial pitch, so obviously there's bad weather. But I'll keep a close eye on that. If it's one of those things where the weather clears an hour before the game or something, I'll be taking the 43.5 there. It just looks a touch low. But sorry, Gab, back to Edinburgh -12.5 against the Scarlets.
Nothing. 0.
Nothing. And I mean, these games, I stand to be corrected, but I guess these games will be kicking off at the same time as well. So even if you were going to have a bet, you pick one of the games, yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story about that, and I will be quick, right? So I go watch South Africa play England in Twickenham in 2012, November 2012. Sitting next to us, like he's in a season ticket seat next to me. So I say to him, "Hey, why do you guys play games at the same time?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, Scotland played at the same time as England and Premier League games at the same time." He says, "I don't care about Scotland. I'm here to watch England." So that's the mindset there. Whereas here in South Africa, we want to watch rugby. So it does bother me that they put the games at the same time. And they've done that with South African games as well, where Cheetahs are playing. I mean, Cheetahs play like 4 games a year on TV, and they go and put it at the same time as Bulls. Like, what are you doing? That's just ridiculous. So, yeah, another stab at SuperSport. I can't speak French, but if I could, I'd tell the owners of Canal Walk Plus or whatever they called in French. But yes, it's ridiculous. Play games. You could play Thursday to Sunday and prime time, and people will watch more, and they'll be more interested because they can watch more. But yeah, they play 2 games on Friday night. Stupid. We've seen 2 early games Friday, 2 late games Friday. I mean, I don't know. Nothing for you in this game.
Bottom line, Gavin says no bet on that game. And Couch, my luck, the guys from SuperSport are probably watching tonight going, let's syndicate the show on SuperSport. Let's bring it to the masses. And then they hear Gav absolutely rip into them, and they're like, no, we'll find someone else. I'm just teasing. But Couch, anything on this game?
No, Channel Plus was looking to diversify and add some betting sites and shows, and all of a sudden you've lost that gap right there, BG. It's gone. No, I think honestly, I hear Gavin, but I don't think I'm going to watch either of the 2 games. It's miserable Friday night rugby in UK. It sucks. It's going to be. I'll take two extra unders. It'll probably be under 50 and under 50 into a double. It's an artificial pitch, but it's just never good rugby at Cardiff, and at night it's miserable. It's going to be windy and crap, and Edinburgh is going to squeak a win against Scarlets. It's going to be it's not great rugby. You just check the result in the end.
Yeah, just Shane coming in and saying I've broken into the Mossman's place here. The moment Mossman wasn't here, I quickly decided to put the grand piano in the background. Farid says he hopes Canal Plus will still bring us some French rugby. I suppose there could be some positives to anything there. But let's get into the local derbies. Quickly have a look at the opening lines as I saw them. It's +5.5 lines now. The open +4.5. Well, that's the earliest line I saw. So very little movement in this game. Couch, let me get your comment on this one before we go to Oracle here. Stormers are favourites.
Yeah, and probably question mark around it. I mean, Lions are team on the win. Stormers haven't played in a few weeks. No, I'm liking the look of the Lions. I think they're confident. I know they've been up and down. They've been tough to call, and I'll probably get on them, and then they'll be horrendous again. But I just think, I mean, it's a 2:30 game at Ellis. I don't know how the Stormers are going to kick off their slops and be ready for this one in time. They're still going to be on the bus and they're going to be hit by a Lions. So I don't know. I'm toying between going for a halftime handicap on the Lions, just hitting them early, or going for the Ellis Park factor to still kick in the second half as well. So now I'm liking the Lions, and I might go into a few alternatives there of the Lions winning by a few.
Right, going to be Stefan. Also looking at the Lions. I'm interested in the points line here. Last week, I was very surprised to get 51.5 on the Lions Sharks game. Took that, and yeah, I didn't actually get to watch much of the game, but it arrived fairly comfortably in the end. Gav, we've got before I bring up the RC on the game, we've got Shane coming in. Moga, make Oracle great again. I like that one. Right, Gav, plus 5.5. Are you going to tell me they got the wrong favourite, sir?
They got the wrong favourite by 10 points. Lions win this game, seriously. You can take -5 Lions with confidence. There's one blip on the radar, and that was that Bulls game where the Lions lost their way and they got thumped. But honestly, I mean, you and I spoke at the end of December, and I was licking my lips that the Lions were playing the Sharks. And I said to you, I'm going to take -20 here. I'm like, at that point, they would have smashed that Sharks team. Yes, they won comfortably. They won by plenty. I just had to wait a month and a half for it. I'm not convinced the Stormers are going to Joburg in this environment and winning this game. They have the wrong favourite here. I think it's primarily because of that Bulls result. If that Bulls team had won the game by 3 or was maybe Lions by 2, like close game, Lions start -3, -4. So that's one result that's altered this algorithm in Switzerland or Germany. I haven't quite found its location yet that spits out our prices. But they got the wrong favourite here. They really, really do. You don't need to take the plus here. Take Lions and take Lions minus. Pick a number, throw the dart, you'll hit the board and you'll win. I'll be very surprised if the Stormers are within 10 points of this game. And I'll say one more thing. Stormers were unbeaten. They had a long run and everything was cool and they were winning. And I was winning on them as well. I was punting them. And then they lost that game. I can't even remember who it was. It doesn't matter. I said to my kid, this team has lost whatever momentum they had. They've gone not backwards, but they've gone back to the starting point. This Lions team is about to hit a run of, well, not about to, they hit it from last week. A lot of home games in a row. They're going to finish in the top 8 for the first time. So this is the best Lions team we've seen in this competition in 4 years. I'm going to say that. I watch every game. I watch every minute. Still don't know the players, Han, but I watch every game. I heard you talking about a Horn, one of the Horn Oaks. I know there's a couple of them. I think one of them was an ex-Puma. I don't know. But anyway, I think if you put the 2 Horn Oaks, I might recognize the shorter one from the taller one. I don't know. But I'm definitely a Lions punter here. And by far, this is my best bet of the weekend outside of cricket.
Right. Well, Prosper's on the Stormers overs there, reckons they need a statement performance. Fareed reckons the Lions will struggle.
He's right. They need a statement performance, but they're not getting it this weekend.
Fareed is very, very confident of the Stormers. I see. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a short-term bias there. I agree with Gavin. You know, they haven't played well the last few weeks. They before the break, you know, they had an absolute bloody mud wrestle against the Bulls. The confidence was gone. I mean, got beaten by a not great Sharks team twice, you know, on the hop. It's they really need to have had a complete reset over this period, or they're going to get clubbed at Ellis. But I mean, on the price, obviously, you can just understand it's almost like the Crusaders scenario. I know Gavin, I keep saying Brent when I want to say Gavin, doesn't look at the team sheets. But I mean, there are a lot of Springboks in the Stormers lineup. You know, if you look at the stars, then you can understand the price. It's Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu, Paul de Villiers has just been included in the Bok alignment camp, Maitland Fouchier. I mean, it's going to be a brimming team for the Stormers, and they're probably going to have Nell back at centre, Ruan, which is going to make a big difference to them. But yeah, I just can't see them turn it around. And as I said, the Lions are going to come out firing.
Right, you got something to say? I see Fareed is saying if you follow the Oracle on the lines, you lose 70% of the time. Are you going to throw some stats back at him?
100%. So the first thing I just want to mention is a bit of, in fact, I'll mention the stat first. So Fareed, you need to, I don't know if it's documented. In fact, it probably isn't, the handicap. 2010 was my favorite year for this example. The Lions lost every single game in Super Rugby, but they won every single handicap. They didn't win a game, but they were plus every time and they beat every handicap. And I made an absolute fortune. People say to me on Monday morning, how'd you go on the weekend? Back the Lions, won some money. They go, but how did you win? They lost. Well, I took the plus 23, the plus 16, plus 12 and a half. It was ridiculous. I think 5 of those games or 6 of those games were within 7 points. The reason why I'm saying this is very similar to, sorry, it's not similar. It's similar in its nature, but it's opposite to New Zealand and India right now in the cricket. The bookmakers are making the team's price bigger than what it should be. New Zealand rugby went through that for about, 15 years, where their handicap should have been 17, but they were minus 20. Handicap should have been 13, but they were minus 16. And if you backed the plus against them, you made money because they were incorrectly priced. And the Lions is a good example. The Lions is the naughty cousin of South African rugby. Almost every single game is priced badly in favor of the Lions. And yes, I'm a supporter, and yes, there's a little bit of bias, but there is only a little bit of bias. I've definitely gone against them, few and far between, but I have gone against them. And right now, if you change the name of Lions and put Stormers there and put Lions where Stormers were, you would see a different handicap on the screen right now. That's just how betting works. And India in cricket is the same thing. England, same story. You guys will remember the 2023 World Cup final, the 2019 World Cup final. England made the price. Well, the price came from Europe. There was so much money in England. I was borrowing money, and I did actually borrow money to get on South Africa. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Yes, last year, yes, yeah, sure. But you got to look at handicaps here. And when you win, you're winning at a bigger price. So if you win at 2-1, you only need to win 1 of 3 games just to stay level. So 30% is pretty much 2-1. And you can look at the average price of the Lions, and you're going to do better than 2-1. I don't know. I've made money on the Lions. I've made money on rugby. I don't need to go through every bit. I can see the price. Yeah, I can carry on all night. Sorry, Brett. No.
And to your point, I know you're not always. I mean, I remember there had been some times where you've gone against or you've said no bet or whatever. But yeah, fair enough. I think very few. Your memory as well, Gavin, is a hell of a lot better than mine when it comes to these.
Elephantish.
Yes, it is elephantish. Now, Couch, I think I am right in saying, because it's been a while since you spoke, you did speak on the Stormers Lions game already, did you? You started us.
No, I'm good. I'm good on the Lions. I'll take Fareed's warning and keep my money with this.
Connacht minus 3.5 against Glasgow. This game kicks off at the same time as Bull Sharks. We'll talk about in a sec. Anything? Yeah, I'm guessing not, Couch.
No, nothing from me.
Nothing. Let's leave this game and move straight on to the Bulls up against the Sharks. Gab, I'm going to give you first crack at the local derby. Bulls minus 10.5 against the Sharks.
I was speaking to my mate Neil earlier today. He asked me what I thought of these games. And I said to him, firstly, Brent hasn't messaged me to come on the show, so I don't know if I'm going to be on. But anyway, here I am.
I almost take it for granted.
I reckon I've done – this is probably my worst fixture where I've just lost money. This is a fixture where I've lost money. I don't have a spreadsheet, but in my head, I look at this fixture, Bulls, Sharks, and I know keep your bets to a minimum. You have not read it right. Rubbish. And I have gone for the Bulls on occasion, and pretty much probably the same as Lions punting against the Lions. Something like that. Maybe 1 every 10 games I go Bulls in this fixture. For some reason, my brain tells me the Sharks are the right team to go for. And I've punted the Sharks so many times. Sharks owe me so much Loftus money. This is definitely a fixture I've got wrong over the years. But I've got it wrong when I've punted the Sharks. I've got the odd Bulls one wrong. but I reckon I've got 97, 99% of Sharks punts wrong in this fixture. And the reason for that is the Sharks have always come into this fixture looking good. Fortunately for me, they don't look good. And I've seen this handicap before when the Sharks have looked good. So I'm going to tell you, based on the Bulls smashing the Lions, who are in great form at the moment, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, against the Sharks team that just looks like they're disillusioned. I know they've made this guy, Peterson, a permanent coach. Doesn't work for me. So for me, my advice, and I will go Bulls minus, and I'll go right up until 14. That's my number. 15 or more, I'm not a Bulls punter. I'm not a punter. The only time I start backing Sharks is at 25. So if you want to give me plus 25, I'm a Sharks punter. Anything up to 14.5, I'm a Bulls minus punter. But I'll tell you right now, it's a small bet. There is very little confidence here. I'm not confident at all. But the right way it looks to me is a Bulls minus.
Well, let's go up to Couch now. I mean, Couch, no secret that you are a Sharks fan. And I've heard you sometimes say you'd rather not bet sometimes on the Sharks game then. But what do you make of this one?
Yeah, I'm probably a lot where Gav is there with the, struggling to call a Sharks game, let alone the Sharks Bulls game. But, if I have to put that aside at the moment, and I think I can, usually I actually end up making a bit of money on the Sharks, especially when they're playing pretty shitty and people expect them to be good, and I know they're not going to be good, and then I make quite a bit of money, and then everyone's like almost like Gavin's situation with the Lions. I pitch up at work and everyone's like, commiserations, geez, you must be so down. I'm like, yeah, no, terrible. And meanwhile, I'm counting the money, so I'm actually quite satisfied. So it leaves a weird feeling, but then the opposite happens when I lose the money, but I win in terms of the Sharks, and then I just feel almost worse.
But you're on the minus, yeah.
Yeah, so it just sucks either way. So it's not a good fixture for me, but honestly, I don't think the Sharks are where they were a month ago. I think the Sharks, they're way better, and I think they're playing better rugby, and whether it's JP or not, I just think they're in a better place at the moment. Scratch last week, B team, I'm not worried about that. It's all about this one. I think 10.5 is too much. If Gavin gave me 14.5, I'm biting his arm off. 14.5 is a great pick. I can't see the Sharks losing by more than 14.5. 10.5, I'm still happy taking it. But yeah, obviously I'm not rushing into it as a Shark supporter. But as a punter, if I could advise someone, I'd definitely advise them on the 10. I'll take probably a little bit of like a 17 and a 14.5 into a few multis in the cricket and things like that. I mean, all of a sudden, everyone thinks the Bulls are sliced bread, and a month ago, Ackerman was chewing his nails off about his job. So it's not quite a done deal. He did well away from home, away from the pressures of Loftus, and it's going to be a bit different when they come back home. Great stuff. You beat the Lions going away, but let's see what you do with the Sharks. Oxenche, Andre Estreisen, it's some big boys playing for the Sharks. I think it's going to be a bit of a tussle at Loftus.
Yeah, I see they've named their team, so it's going to be tough. Gav, you wanted to add something before we move off this game?
Yeah, so the way Hans spoke now is how I used to look at this fixture. I was all over the Sharks so many times, so I've switched. So for me, I'm actually banning myself from backing the Sharks at Loftus until further notice. I've got a sign up at the moment. So, yes, there's a little bit of bias, losing bias. I've lost so much on this fixture, backing the Sharks, just not interested. So, I don't know. I can't do it. Can they win? I just saw Farid. Of course they can win. Sharks can win. Of course they can win. They've won games there before. I used to work at the Cattleman restaurant in the early 90s, and we used to wear a shirt that had a banana, because they were called the Banana Boys. They had a banana up the bull's arse on the shirt, and we wore that at work. I mean, that was our shirt. You know, so we won the Banana Boys won the 1990 Curry Cup at the time. So yes, of course the Sharks have won games over there, and they've won some big fixtures there. I just can't be having this team, and I don't care who's on the team sheet. Andre Pollard is in the other team, and that's good enough for me. Bulls win this game, and I think they win it comfortably.
Okay, guys, there's 3 games left. I'm going to give them to you. If you've got a strong feel, give it. If you don't have a feel, say it. Or, if you've got a feel, we'll skim them so that we can get on to the cricket, because I'm actually looking forward to talking that. Right, Gav, Munster, minus 23.5 against Zebra, nothing.
I won't be
Couch?
involved in any of the other games.
Again, probably Munster losing a lot of players, but Zebra probably the same. It just looks a little bit much, but yeah, nothing much for me.
Dragons plus 1.5 against Benetton. This game's got "Leave Me Alone" written all over it to me. Gav?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you I'm interested in the Dragons at that price. You've got me interested just looking at the price. I like
Benetton lose a lot of... I tend to be... I did a bit of research in the first week of Six Nations. The week
I'm interested in this. At that price, I'm interested.
And I remember noticing that Benetton, they really do struggle because they lose a hell of a lot of their players. So, maybe I reckon if you are desperate, and some of us are sometimes on a Saturday night at this
time. I'm interested now. I'm definitely a Dragons punter at that price. That's crazy.
Dragons punter at the price.
They got the wrong favourite by probably about 8 points there in my head. I don't know. It looks odd straight away.
Couch, anything here? I can see.
Oh, guys, it's Wales versus Italy, and Wales are absolutely nowhere, and Dragons are losing players. I don't know whether they're using the...
No, you can't. It's Italy without Italy.
It's what is the famous quote? It's what, crap versus crap.
So I was going to say with the Bulls, it's crap versus crappier.
Fareed has gone Dragons. I also you've convinced me on the Dragons, Kevin. I
like them. At that price, I'm definitely interested.
Right, Ospreys. Last game before we talk a bit of cricket. Ospreys plus 6.5 against Ulster. Gavin, nothing. Couch.
No.
I've got a nibble on Ulster to win the whole thing, so I'm just going to shut up and hope they win.
Right. Okay, now, guys, that was the cricket. We haven't got all the team sheets.
That was the cricket. The cricket's about to start.
The cricket was about to start. That was the rugby. Now we're already looking for the thing, T20 World Cup. Now, Gav, I know you've been loving your cricket. Couch, let's quickly cover that quickly. You're writing a daily preview for good for the game. You've hit some nice winners at nice prices. You do a lot of man of the match, top bat picks, that sort of thing. And I'll just bring this banner up. It's probably going to just show over us, but PokerBet are offering a 20% bet boost on any bet that Couch wins. Now, they're doing the same for me, but we don't advertise that because I don't post any winners. But Couch actually hits quite a few of them. So, Couch, just bear that in mind. Couch
just explain that promotion so we can understand it.
So, basically, if Couch tips something, let's just say at 10 to 1, and you win 100 Rand, they'll add 20 Rand winnings onto that. They'll add 20% on that. It was
so if you take the same bets as what Couch's tips and it wins, they'll give you 20%, right?
They'll give you 20%. So
I must say, I'm a bit miffed at today's game because I had old Abhishek Sharma, and first of all, India batted first, and I thought, okay, great guns, this guy can't fail again, and he was going at 50. When I left work, and I thought, okay, I'm going to come here and hopefully he delivered. And then I saw, okay, he top scored with 55, and old Hardik sneaked in with a few sixes at the end to get 50. And then I thought, okay, now they're probably going to give it to Bennett just for being a bloody class batsman. And then they went and bloody gave it to Hardik Pandya in any case. And I must say, he bowled. I thought, okay, he's going to get a wicket, and then I can understand, but he didn't. So honestly, 10 more runs from Abhishek, and I probably would have won that bet. So I'm pretty disappointed in that effort. I thought I was on a good thing there.
And guys, I wanna quickly, before I do anything else, I just want to bring up the tables here quickly. Let's just quickly do this.
I just want to say something to Han there. Sorry, Han. I have to agree with you. The Oak gets 97, right? Almost double the highest score of the opposing team, and he's not considered as man of the match. For me, man of the match doesn't have to be from the winning side. It's the person who's delivered the best performance.
The best individual performance.
97 away. Let's say you give them a 30. They get 100 runs, and they're nothing. I don't know. That's just... Okay, so what that table, I'll read the table to you. So in the top group, the Southern group, South Africa have qualified. Run rate means absolutely nothing because the West Indies play India on Sunday.
It only means something if it rained, Gav. I mean, I don't think there is any rain forecast. But if it did, then West Indies would go through ahead of India.
100%, yeah. Correct. If it rains, then the West Indies, if it's a one-pointer, then the West Indies will go through. But if the match takes place, then the run rate doesn't count as long as there's 5 overs for each. So West Indies and India are playing for the right to join South Africa. Looking at the run rate, it's extremely difficult for not the West Indies, I suppose. They could overtake South Africa, assuming they lost if there was a match in it. But considering South Africa playing Zimbabwe, South Africa should win the game. So they'll go through as first. The first thing I'll tell you is the West Indies are definitely in this race. The way they batted against us, against Zimbabwe.
But the way they recovered against us was highly impressive. Like they backed down all the way to 9.
Yeah, so at the end of their innings, and I have a limit of 7 to 10 on my price. And I missed it this morning. I was driving for the first 20 minutes of that innings. And I said to my mate, Michael, I was looking for 7 to 10 South Africa. They were 9 to 20 to start the day. And at 30 odd for no wicket, they must have gone close to 6.5, 7 to 10. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell us. I don't know what price they went to because I wasn't watching. But they raced to 29 off 2 overs or 28 off 2 overs, 29 I think it was. Got to 40 odd. And then when I heard, because I was listening to it, I put DSTV on my phone. I put it through the Bluetooth audio. So I'm listening to the commentary, not watching the game, obviously, while I'm driving. But I heard the wicket, and then I heard. By the time I got home, they were 5 down, so I missed the price. And then, of course, that later on, well, not later on, but a few minutes later, they got right up to 4 to 10 again. And I said to my mate, if they have a big 3 overs here and they get to like 190, 185, 190, we'll probably see 6 or 7 to 10 again. And that didn't happen because they had that the 18th over, they only got 5 runs. And, of course, they lost a couple of wickets and they didn't get anything. And South Africa started the second innings at 3 to 10. But the reality is, and I said this to my mate, this was a T20 wicket today. They missed it by a long way. South Africa were going to get this easily. And, yes, I'm not a 3 to 10 punter, so I didn't take the bet. But South Africa looked really good. I backed South Africa at 4 to 1. I know you could have got better than that. I backed South Africa at 4 to 1 after the group stage. And I'm sorry, South Africa are going to win this tournament. And you know what happened today and yesterday? Yesterday.
We haven't had a word from Couch yet on the cricket.
No, but I'm going to talk once, and he can talk once. West Indies smashed Zimbabwe, and then South Africa. Before that game, India shorted. South Africa won today, and India shorted. South Africa's price to win the tournament did not move today. From before the 2 games today till right now, price is the same. India shortened on the back of South Africa beating Zimbabwe. And I found that quite odd. We've seen 2
South Africa beating West Indies. Yeah.
Yeah, before the game, the price is the same, which is ridiculous. South Africa made a proper statement today. I mean, yesterday, sorry. Today.
No, you know what
the problem is they played 2 games today, and I'm so used to 1 game a day. Sorry, I'm getting a bit
okay. So I agree with your comments on the table. Couch, I want to ask your opinion on this one because this is actually quite interesting. I mean, England are through, right? New Zealand are basically through. Mathematically, they could still, but Pakistan would have to hammer Sri Lanka, and they'd have to get hammered by England. So it's like a mathematical possibility. But here's the reality as I see things, Couch, in this pool group 2. England and New Zealand will play each other for top spot. What is the likely reward for top spot?
West Indies.
No. Well, you think it's not the likely reward. Gav thinks the West Indies. Let's face it, the likely reward for top spot is India in the semi-finals. Now, as well as South Africa been playing, if you're those guys, who do you want to play in the semis? In India, you want to avoid. I mean, they're not going to throw it, right? But you got to say that neither one of them would probably be that disappointed to lose that game. Couch, what do you think?
Especially if you're England, because New Zealand, Pakistan and Sri Lanka play after them. So, I mean, you don't really want to go and,
You don't want to take any
diddle about and take a chance with your life. That's definitely not going to happen for if, buts and maybes, so they're going to go for it. But definitely if you're England, you're not really going to be absolutely, humming at this one. So
might feel with a couple of fringe players or something, perhaps.
Yeah, but then again, the way England are playing, they'll probably end up playing better when they don't try and play well, because they've been absolutely shit. They've squeaked by. I mean, I have them outright to win the comp at like 5-1, and they've been pretty dismal. It's because I just want to say, Gavin, I like their flow. I thought that they definitely get to the semi, so they were a shoe in to get to the semi, because they were going to have the easier pool and then the easier semi, or the easier group, and then they only have to win a semi and they're in the final. But they've been absolutely nowhere form-wise. I mean, Butler can't hit it off the square at the moment. So it's a bit crazy. I just wanted to add there that to Shane, that Markram is now 2-1 to be top tournament batsman. I'm absolutely holding thumbs there, because I do have some money down, and I love his knock today. But I'm worse than the Sharks on the Proteas, Gavin. I wouldn't come close to backing the Proteas. It's just I'd be streaking naked around the neighborhood if they win. I don't need to have any money on that. I've been waiting 40 years for them to do it. So let's just keep it at that.
I'll tell you. Sorry, carry on.
I just quickly want to add, Gavin, on the price there. I think someone asked, you just got to factor in that obviously the price is the best at the moment, because India aren't exactly guaranteed to go through. After the match, when India do go through, then it'll obviously shorten. So obviously South Africa will be a bit shorter at the moment, because they're guaranteed to be there, as will England. But as soon as India end up joining them, it's going to look a little bit different.
All right, so let me tell you what I see here. Sorry, carry on, Brent, when I'm ready.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just looking at Couch preview. I'd like you to run us through your bets, but Gav, you speak first, and then Couch can take us through his bets on the actual game tomorrow as well.
All right, never mind, do Sharks owe me money at Loftus. South Africa owe me money. And my first big punt, right? 1996, Hansi Cronje, Pakistan World Cup, ODI. I worked, I was a security guard in England, and I worked. And I took my money to the cash shop in the high street, and I got on to South Africa. 3-1. I couldn't believe the price. It was a gift. South Africa owe me a lot of money, but this year they pay me back. This is a proper team. Everybody is performing. There's no one that is not performing. South Africa win this tournament. For me, they got the wrong favorite, but more importantly, India were 12-10 3 games ago, and now they're 15-10. But I'm going to tell you, the West Indies beat this Indian team. I've seen 2 silent stadiums, that one in Colombo and the one in Ahmedabad the other night, where people are leaving in droves down the street, more people in the street than cars could run in an hour. This Indian team is going to go out on the West Indies game. And South Africa, if you can get 5-2 right now, take it. Grab it. Because when India go out on Sunday, you'll be lucky to get 7-10, South Africa. This is race over. And I'll tell you what, they got the wrong favorite tomorrow. England should not be favourite for this game. England have got 1.7 players in their team that are performing. 1.7. And there's 11 of them. Only 1 are performing. New Zealand, 9 out of 11 are performing. That New Zealand team, the only team that have beaten them is an above par South African team that is going to win this tournament. They got nothing to worry about. New Zealand will beat this England team and will top the group. And let me tell you, to answer your question, Brent, they would rather play India than South Africa. Because if they play South Africa, they're done. They will get to the final, because whoever, West Indies or India, if I'm wrong with my West Indies prediction, they'll be playing India, they'll beat them, and they'll get to the final and play us, and they'll get the silver medal, and they can go and look at the silver price of $76 an ounce, and that's all they're going to get. They're not going to get the gold at $5,000, Brent. Get on gold if you haven't listened to me before. This is not financial advice. This is just life advice. So I like South Africa to win this tournament, West Indies to beat India, New Zealand to smash England tomorrow, and the Pakistan-Sri Lanka game, stay away from it. It has all the look and feel of match fixing. Do not put anything on it. Rather get drunk before the game and enjoy it. Don't get involved. Don't take highest batsman, none of that. And if Hahn is correct and Aiden Markram is 2-1 to win this top batsman, get on, borrow, get on. That is a solid bet. That guy's in top form. We will be in the final and we will win the tournament. That's it.
Brent, I think Gavin read my preview. They actually said New Zealand are a team of,
You got the wrong favourite tomorrow,
they're a well-balanced team with everyone pitching in. They on the day, anyone can do their bit, or they all do their bit, while England are going to make deal with one guy having an absolute blinder. They're a bunch of individuals, and that's what they rely on. But that's the thing of T20. You only need a guy to come off like Hetmeyer did for the West Indies, or you just need that one golden bullet, and you can get the job done. And that's why it's it's not an easy game. This you can be ended by Zimbabwe on their day.
And Couch, just before just to run through Johan's treble, Lions plus 5.5, Highlanders plus 3.5, and Drew Kane's over 53.5 at 11-2. But Couch, I want to ask you, as a South African, I mean, obviously take money aside, and we're all hoping South Africa win this tournament. How does it make you feel as a South African supporter to hear the oracle going on about the fact that we're going to win? Because let's face it, as South Africans, we're too scared. I mean, Oracle's not, but the rest of us are too scared to even think it, because we've been there, we've had our hearts broken. I do agree with Oracle. This is a good side. But at the end of the day, I still think if we play India, in India, I still think they beat us 7 out of 10, right? But that's my.
Brent, we've had a lot of good sides. I mean, let's not kid around. We've taken a team to a World Cup with Jacques Kallis and AB de Villiers and Hashim Amla and Dale Steyn. I mean, we've taken this team with Sean Pollock and bloody Jacques Kallis again. I mean, we've been at the top of our game, and we've lost to bloody New Zealand, and we trip over ourselves. The worst thing that could possibly happen to South Africa is to be 7-10 to win the tournament, because that's when we are absolutely dismal. We cannot be a favorite going in. It's almost like, let's just play India. I mean, let's just be the little underdog in the corner, and no one gives us a chance, because as soon as we favorites, it's horrible. So I don't know how it's gonna go, and I don't want to put too much faith in them, because I mean, the previous World Cup, I was saying we're not gonna do it, and when Heinrich Klaasen reverse swept one over there, I was up out my seat, and I told my wife, we're doing it, and we weren't doing it. So I've been down that road. I've seen Alan Donald being stranded at the non-strikers end, and it's all ended in tears, and I can't do it again.
So it makes you nervous when you hear Oracle talk like that?
Absolutely nervous, and now it's a completely different thing for me, because there's money in the game as well. I've got old Aiden to be the top. I mean, I couldn't even watch him bat almost today, because I'm like, just make loads, son. Just make loads.
Oh, and he looked. I think I went for him, and I wrote a preview for it. I went for Markram. I think it's top bat in the game, but he looked absolutely superb. Gavin, I might be a bit nervous when you talk about that, but I'm almost in agreement with you on New Zealand. I think New Zealand, the better all-round team. So I think anything above even money is a nice play. And I do think that of the two sides, I agree with you, Couch. I think New Zealand will be. I'm not that England are going to come out there and blow things, but I think New Zealand are going to be the more switched on of the two sides tomorrow. And I think New Zealand are a decent punt. What else? Before we go back to Oracle, what else have you got for us in this game? And bear in mind, I know you got your preview up. You got, and then people can get a 20% boost with PokerBet, obviously, if it arrives.
I think, Brent, just like in terms of the strategy earlier in the tournament, and it's obviously going to end now. I like the bigger prizes. I mean, it's Gavin said it earlier on the Lions 2-1 or 3-1. You only have to win one. So obviously, I don't win a lot, but when I win, it's at a nice price. I don't want to go for a top batsman at 3-1, because I mean, there's 7 or 8 guys who can win it, and to me, it's especially playing a weaker team. You don't know whether you're going to be batting first or second. Yeah. So to me, I often went, and that's why I got the Ngidi man of the match, is going for the team when they bowl first against the weaker team, because I feel that the bowler has got the better chance of being the man of the match in that case, because they're going to roll him for under 120, and then a batsman can't really get man of the match, making a slow or steady 50. They make it when they bat first, or they make it when they chase a big total. So to me, that was kind of the strategy going for man of the match there. And I mean, I've learned slowly, especially in running. I've lost quite a bit of the profits I make, because I'm a buyer there, same as I am in rugby. So I struggle, going unders and things like that. So I want to see runs, and I think there haven't been as many runs in this tournament. We've obviously seen 2 big scores now, but and the West Indies are just good to back on boundaries, because they just want to hit every single ball. But for the rest, it's almost like the bowlers have really been in it. So to me, I'm backing Ish Sodhi tomorrow to be a man of the match. I mean, I think it's going to take a lot of turn. He hasn't bowled a lot, so it's an outsider. But New Zealand don't really have a big-time spinner there except for Sodhi. Santner is steady, and he's a good guy for a man of the match punt, but he was probably at his best in the previous game. I don't like doubling up. But performance, you could go for him because he's always in the action. But I'll take Sodhi to try and have a good one. And then I think I had Chapman as the batsman, because he's 9-1, and I mean he bats at number 5, and I think it'll be a tight game. It's not going to be the top 3 necessarily, that top score. So I think all the batsmen are going to be in play. So it's not the worst game for your number 5 batsman at 9-1. Obviously, you need some luck in running, and I actually prefer that in my punts. But I mean, I can't do that as a preview to see how the game unfolds. And then I actually took Hardik Pandya to be the top scorer for India, like after 8 overs, and you get him like something like 15-1. But they catch up quite quickly at the end there as finishers. So it's often just a nice little, obviously nothing big, just a little taste of the action.
Robert Sodhi, I see 16-1 there on PokerBet for the player of the match. So as you say, I like your strategy for the cricket, because you can spread your bets around. Occasionally, you'll take an even money shot for most sixes or whatever, which is also fine. But you can have a small interest and hopefully get a run for your money there. Gav, you can add anything else you want, but I wanted to ask you about Zimbabwe, South Africa. Have you seen not Zimbabwe, South Africa, India, West Indies? Have you seen the betting?
No, but for me, it's a must-win game. So West Indies have shown us that they can bat. I mean, that Sherfane Rutherford played in the SA20. Even Rovman, he had a fantastic innings the other day. Shea Hope. I mean, they've got a quality batting lineup. They've got a full lineup of players that can.
He knows his cricketers much better than his rugby players, Brent.
Yes,
you know why? But you know why? Because for 8 hours, they show the oak on the screen for 30 seconds and tell you about it. In rugby, you see him for 1.2 seconds and he's gone. And there's so many players on the field. More come on. I mean, what is it? 46 players versus 22. And out of the 22, you only have to know about 6 of them for that match. It's seconds per player per second, or whatever it is. Of course, cricketers. You can line up South African cricketers from 1990. I'll probably know all of them. Rugby, if I'm lucky, I'll get a third. But yes, that West Indian team.
So Gavin, price this game up for me. You haven't seen the betting yet, because I can see the betting now. So price it up as you think the bookies will price it, not as you. I know you think West Indies are going to win, but how do you think the bookies will price up on this game?
India, West Indies.
Yes.
Oh, they'll go 1-3, 2-1, something like that. India will be 1-3, maybe 1-4, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, 1-4, 3-1.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 3-1. Crazy. I'm not going to say they got the wrong favourite, but there's huge value on West Indies. West Indies can win this game. If they had to play this game 3 times, West Indies win. Sorry, if they had to play it 4 times, West Indies win at least 2 of them. 5 times, 2 of them. Better price than what you're getting there.
I'm not sure I agree with your split there, but Kach, I'd have to say the West Indies definitely not without hope against India there. I'd say when you start getting to a 3-1 market,
they got Shea Hope.
Yeah, Shea Hope. When you get to 3-1, you start thinking about backing the underdog there, hey? What's Shane got to say?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you have to say as well that the West Indies aren't really phased. They're school cats kind of guys. It's not like it's. I must say I was impressed with the way they batted today. Eventually, I mean, I kept saying they're going to not lose a wicket and lost money on overs and overs, and eventually they got there. But they don't have that. They're almost like the Lions in rugby. They just play at one speed. They can't regroup, and I think they finally did it today a little bit with Jason Holder, and they just said, "Listen, let's just play some cricket." But for the rest, I mean, it's almost like I don't think they've got Darren Sammy there as coach, but I don't think he coaches much. I think he has some beers with the guys, and he just says, "Go out there and hit it." And I mean, that's what they do. So the problem for them is that. As soon as it is a little bit tricky, if it's not an absolute flat deck or it's going to take some spin and you get Varun Chakravarti all of a sudden turning at mystery spinner, I mean, Hetmeyer is the great example. I think he's in fantastic form. He's a great batsman. And he just stepped in today and just had 2 hits. I mean, he got dropped the first ball and out the second ball. I mean, it's sometimes you just got to use your head a little bit. And to me, the Windies just fall out there. They just... little bit of common sense that they need to use, and it was better today.
If I got dropped 3 out of 4 times, I'd also have a go at every ball. I mean, I started dropping my catches.
Yeah, but he's back in the hut, and he's like the 4th leading run scorer, and he should have been at the wicket. So to me, it was a little bit lackadaisical. They just flash at it. So we'll see. I mean, India did the same approach at the top. I mean, what's his name? Ishan Kishan and. Abhishek Sharma, they also just pretty much hitters. So it's going to be an interesting one when they go at it. I still think India they almost like can't afford to lose. I mean, it's their World Cup. They're probably going to burn the stadium if they don't do it.
Yeah, it'll be as Gavin said earlier. If they get well beaten, the flood out of the stadium will happen early. If you want to subscribe to the letter. There's a QR code in the top left for the newsletter, which will, of course, be out probably tomorrow, but possibly Saturday. We'll see how things go there. Guys, let me go to each of you and just ask, Gavin, anything else to add on the cricket? Anything else on the weekend that catches your eye?
Yeah, so I wanted to tell you something which is... we can start with hashtag you can only dream, right? But first of all, I'll tell you my best bet of the weekend is the Lions on the board to beat the Stormers. Second best bet is New Zealand to beat England tomorrow. All right, those are the 2 big bets for me. And obviously have a go at West Indies. You're getting a price, as you heard earlier. I mean, who wants to back India at 1-5, 1-4? That's just crazy. Anyway, here's a stat I heard today. Pommy Mbangwa pointed it out earlier in the game commentary today. So South Africa are the current Test champions. When they win the T20, not if they win, when they win the T20 next week, Sunday, we then go into the ODI next year in South Africa. We could be the first team in cricket history to have all 3 trophies at the same time. No one's done that. So that is something to look forward to. I'm not sure that is really they probably don't, but we'll be the first.
I'm not sure that really is a stat, Couch. What do you think? I mean, a stat is normally something
that's going to be a stat.
It will be a stat. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not sure I don't know if I call it a stat.
If I wake up tomorrow morning and I jog down to the beach at absolute top pace, then it'll be a stat. It would be my fastest time at 6 o'clock in the morning jogging to the beach. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you see, because you're from the Hansie Cronje punting breed of the 90s. You've got to get that out of your head. South Africa is a different team today. This team's got rid of the monkey. They got rid of the whatever. They don't have the choking factor anymore. This team is good. They're good. Everybody's performing. I'm happy. I like South African cricket right now. Love it, actually.
It reminds me of an old saying that's become much more relevant in today's modern times. But if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
No, but I hear you, Gav. But I was just chuckling at that because I think that's, as South African fans, I don't think any of us want to even think of looking that far ahead yet. But anyways, gents, I'm going to bring it to an end.
I'm not thinking. I'm expecting.
Yeah, no, you're super confident. But Gav, thanks. It was great to talk some cricket. As I say, maybe we'll do a show like before the semis or something and do a quiz or something like that. It'll be pretty cool. Developer has come on and said no one is expecting SAV New Zealand final. Script leaked, New Zealand winning. So I think Oracle was right with you until those last 3 words. New Zealand winning, he can't have. But funny enough, New Zealand is one of those. I would rather play England in the final than New Zealand, for example. We beat them well last time, but they really are a good side. Who would you? Last question then. South Africa, Gav. Who would you choose to play in the final?
Honest answer, doesn't matter, Brent. We'll beat everyone. We'll beat everyone. Doesn't matter who pitches up. You could take the best players of all the teams that are remaining in the tournament, and we'd beat them. We are that good right now.
England. I'm taking England.
England, yeah, I would say England as well.
Or Pakistan, to be fair, if they can still sneak it in, I'll take Pakistan.
I want to play Afghanistan because Afghanistan are the best team that didn't beat us.
And you think if we, and I am using a Pommy stat, if we win this World Cup, my heavens, will look back at that Afghanistan game. That first, how we nearly blew it. That 6 from Stubbs to force a second extra over, and the drama there and how we got up there. But anyways, guys, that's it. I've got a few previews to write, some text to do. It's year end, of course. So thanks very much. Thanks to all the guys in the live chat. Develop it. Yeah, enjoy. Thanks for joining us for the cricket. And Couch and Oracle, good to chat to you guys. We'll see you next week for the handicap rugby chat that matters.